Warzone Season 2 was released on February 14th, 2022 and finally brought some much needed changes and fixes to both Caldera and Rebirth Island. There were a lot of issues throughout Season 1 and a lot of hope for Season 2. This review serves as an extension of our Season 1 review. We'll mostly be focusing on what has changed and present issues here. We'll be back every season to see how the game progresses, so to make sure you don't miss my descent into madness, make sure you're subscribed. Does the update have what it takes to fix the game? How do the new changes help gameplay? And most importantly, is Season 2 of Warzone Pacific worth your time? As is tradition with Call of Duty, gameplay has remained largely the same. Drop in, loot up, and get to shooting. Shooting feels as satisfying as it ever did, and there have been a plethora of quality of life changes included with the updates. The biggest quality of life change comes with armor plates, which now refill full plates before broken ones, allowing you to gain more health back quickly in a tense fight. Parachutes can also now be deployed closer to the ground, and you move much faster with your shootout. Ascenders can now be exited, you're not locked into your death at the top. Mantling has had an overhaul, so now climbing around should be much easier. Finally, stun grenade aim assist has been tweaked to be fairer. There are some more changes in the patch notes, which we've linked in the description. Season 2 also brings some great gameplay changes. My favourite are the redeploy balloons. These make rotating so much swifter and so much fun. These are placed around Caldera and are a fantastic addition to the gameplay. Bombers have been implemented well. They are slow and short on health, but can be incredibly powerful if left unchecked. I was really worried about these initially, but they serve a purpose in the larger sandbox. So far, we also have two gas-related gameplay changes. First up is the PDS, which allows you to make a small safe space within the gas. This is a solid little change and balanced well. There's also the Nebula V rounds, which emit a gas cloud when you down an enemy. This is a great offensive tool and can help turn the tide in a gunfight. Finally, we have the new POI, Chemical Factory. This area is unique because it has AI soldiers guarding it. These soldiers don't pose much of a threat, but add a unique flavour to the POI. This area is well designed and a good addition to the map. There's a decent amount of good here. Raven seem to be trying to implement the quality of life changes we hope to see, and are more actively communicating with the community in regards to gameplay changes. We also have the reintroduction of Clash. This does a lot to solve the grind issue, and is a great sandbox mode. It's not my cup of tea, but I can absolutely see the appeal, and I had fun with what I did play. However, there are also a lot of bad things here. Caldera is an interesting conundrum. I feel that the POIs are overall better than Verdansk, but everything else is so much worse for gameplay. Positioning the peak at the centre of the map was a mistake. The circle has been tweaked to centre on peak less, and the redeploy balloons give you more options to rotate, but so many battles in this game are uphill and it can be very frustrating. The sheer amount of foliage makes visibility a mess. In Verdansk, it was always easy to pinpoint where you were being shot from. In Caldera, it is sometimes impossible. Footsteps are completely broken. For our review period of Season 2, we played with an Arctis SteelSeries 7X cranked up as loud as I could bear, and instances of hearing footsteps were few and far between, even when players were tactical sprinting behind me. Sound is just as, if not more important than visual information in Warzone, and this is a persistent problem that has gotten much worse since Season 1. Freezing is also still an issue. By-station freezing seems to have been fixed, but I had multiple instances of massive freezes. This is another major issue that has only gotten worse with the Season 2 update. In the same vein, crashing bombers in Caldera can lead to hard crashes. Weapon balance is still completely silly. Currently, the PPSH is dominating everything at close range, and the Bren is still nuts at long range. The new guns aren't busted, but the overall weapon balance here is very poor. This is more of a specs issue, but if you want to play Caldera on Xbox, you just can't. It crashes your game every single time. To fix this, quit the game and turn off HDR10 in your Xbox settings. How this got past QA is beyond me. Matchmaking times are abysmal, sometimes taking me up to 5 minutes from queuing up to getting into a match. We will not be getting an FOV slider on console at all. This is fine, thank you for the transparency, Raven, but your reasoning is garbage. They say that adding an FOV slider to next-gen consoles would provide an unfair advantage against last-gen console players. Okay, Then why is PC allowed an FOV slider? Can we get some console-only crossplay to fix this unfair advantage and sort out the cheating problem ourselves? Speaking of, we should talk about the cheating in this game. Ricochet anti-cheat seemed to be a massive success upon launch, but that has all since gone down the drain. We even had the good fortune of encountering a blatant cheater during our review period. Raven has been touting that Ricochet can nerf cheaters on the fly during matches. This wasn't the case with the cheater we encountered, who proceeded to rack up kills during our Clash game. Cheating is still a major issue with this game, and it destroys the integrity of every single gunfight. Ricochet on its own isn't enough. There needs to be a stronger deterrent to cheaters making multiple accounts. Overall, there are some great gameplay changes here, but the overall feel of the game is just flat out worse than last season. Weapon balance is worse, crashes and freezes in game are far more common, footsteps are flat out broken, and cheating is off the charts. This gameplay is so much fun when it works, but there are so many issues that pull everything down, and they are much worse than last season. Warzone Season 2 is starting out rough with a 2 out of 5 for gameplay. Right. Let's get the best thing about the update out of the way first. The main menu theme is straight fire. Caldera has also had a facelift. Everything is brighter and the haziness is gone. This change is fantastic and does a lot to help visibility. Yet, the horrible draw distance and texture popping has only gotten worse. My Caldera experience was akin to that of a PlayStation 2 game. It looked horrendous. This footage was captured on Xbox Series S. I dread to think what the game looks like on Xbox One and PS4. Overall animations are still solid and fluid. The art direction makes a lot of good choices in making weapons feel great to shoot, but it is all for naught in how the overall game looks. For what it's worth, Rebirth Island still looks great. It's nice and bright, and everything is easy to see. Due to the plethora of art direction issues and bugs, the score is staying the same as last season. There have been some improvements here, but the foundation is broken. Warzone Season 2 scores a 2 out of 5 for its art direction. We can keep this nice and short and sweet. The narrative here is almost the same as last season. Storytime with Captain Butcher has introduced us to Task Force Yeti, and with them the Nebula V gas. All of the new additions are contextualized in a nice thematic way, even if the story itself is fairly bland. Warzone Season 2 gets a 3 out of 5 for its narrative offering. There is a ton of content and a lot of settings here, but the whole package is brought down on a technical level by some glaring issues. We're going to gloss over the available settings as we covered them in depth in our Season 1 review that is linked in the description. The short version is that the settings on offer here are legitimately fantastic. There are a plethora of controller, keyboard and mouse, sensitivity, video, audio and accessibility tweaks. If the game does one thing right, it's offering a wide variety of high quality tweaks to the experience. Content has also gotten a nice upgrade. We have the main edition of Clash as a meat grinder mode, and there are finally selections for duos, trios and quads for Rebirth Island, as well as the in-rotation Battle Royale mode. The big issue here is the bugs. They are somehow worse this season, despite Raven pushing to fix them. We've already touched on some of these in the gameplay section, and these issues knock points off in both gameplay and specs, as they are a detriment in both areas. The one we encounter most often is the black screen, wherein the game relaunches itself at random. Matchmaking times are already insanely long, and adding in a random reset when one of us black screens feels like a joke. We picked up on this issue in our last review, and it has only gotten worse. Menus still take forever to load in. Changing your operator skin is almost impossible because nothing loads. Freezing is also still a massive issue, but instead of it happening at a buy station this season, it happens at random, and it will get you killed. Then we have the massive issue on Xbox. Attempting to play Caldera will just crash your game and send you back to the Xbox home. Again, you can fix this by disabling HDR10 in your Xbox settings, but it baffles me that an issue this massive made it into the patch. This is legitimately game breaking. The cherry on top of everything is that some store bundles are just broken. When the store, of all things, doesn't work properly, you know something is definitely wrong. A few bundles give you something different to what you paid for, and this new one doesn't even let you preview its contents. Not that you should ever even think about buying it. Overall, the technical state of this game is a total mess. Trying to simply play with friends is unending frustration, and at the end of the night, we're commonly left thinking we wasted our time. Some great settings save this package from getting the minimum score of 1, but Warzone is getting away by the skin of its teeth with a 2 out of 5 for its technical aspects. If you thought Warzone was suddenly going to start respecting your time and money, then I don't know what to say. Raven did help one major element of grind though. I have to give them credit. Clash is a great mode for ranking up weapons in Warzone and is free for all players. This is a great step in the right direction, but with over 100 weapons with 50 levels on average each, the grind is still absurd for regular people. I should reiterate that I've been playing Warzone almost daily since day 1, and even I'm struggling with the amount of grind here. The fastest way to rank up weapons is still to grab the full price game your favourite weapon is attached to and play that instead. The Battle Pass is back and has some cool rewards, but progression in Warzone is egregiously slow. For the entire duration of our review period, there was a double XP bonus on, and that also doubled Battle Pass XP. Yet, I came out of a win on Rebirth Island only to get myself a quarter of a tier. Progression over on the premium game Vanguard felt much faster, where with double XP, I'd be getting around 3/4 of a tier per match. The store is the same as most free-to-play stores, massively overpriced, and everything is still locked to bundles. There are some cool items I'd like to get my hands on, but seeing one weapon I like in a $20 bundle is just a joke. Hard drive footprint is still massive and now over 90 gigabytes on our system. Matches last around 15 to 20 minutes on the longer side, but matchmaking time is currently around 5 minutes on top of that, and that's if you have no crash issues. There's enough pre-game lobby time to really think about what you're doing with your life. Clash is but a drop in the bucket compared to how much this game asks of you. The commitment here is appalling. Warzone still has no respect for your time or money, and I'm falling back into dreading my friends texting me to hop back on. Warzone Season 2 sticks with the minimum score of 1 out of 5 on our commitment scale. Bottom line, it got worse. Let me state that when this game works, it is so fantastic, it feels great to play and is so much fun, but the other 90% of the time, it is a broken, buggy mess and it only keeps getting worse. Warzone Season 2 is absolutely not worth your time. I feel like I suffer from Stockholm Syndrome with this game. I do really enjoy it when it works, but games working should be the bare minimum. The devs have come out and admitted that Warzone is screwed up and that it got too complicated with the Cold War and Vanguard integrations, but the game still has a working storefront that is front and center every time you log in. It is very clear where the focus is now. Warzone isn't a game anymore. It's a storefront with a side mode that sometimes works. I really hope that we can see some improvements going forward, because honestly, I'm not ready to review 4 more seasons of this that just get progressively worse.